Hello, everybody, and welcome to MXGP Studio Show 2.2, our second week in isolation here, but we're doing our best to bring you the live studio show, as always, on a Saturday with me, Paul Malin, and Lisa Leyland. Our first guest, as you would have just seen there from that clip, is Jeffrey Herlings, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing. We'll talk to him in just a few moments' time. Apologies for the delay, just had one or two little technical issues there, but we have resolved them now, and we are up and ready and going again. But Lisa, it's our second virtual studio show, 2.2, and part of our MXGP Stay at Home series. How's everything with you? How have you spent the last week?
I've been keeping busy. I've become a professional painter, decorator, window cleaner. Honestly, you'd be impressed, Paul.
All right. Well, look, obviously the weather's great here in Belgium. Yeah. I guess it's equally so in Spain where you are. But let's head a little bit north of where we both are, over the border to Holland. And Jeffrey Herlings, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing, is ready to talk to us. Jeffrey, how's everything over the border? How are you finding life at home at the moment?
Oh man! First of all, hey Paul, hey Lisa, man, it's boring. I can tell you that. Always when you're racing, you want to have a little time off, but then you get so much time off again. It's like an injury, man. But it's you know, I try to make the best out of the situation. You know, nobody wants this situation, and it's a hard time what we're living in now. It's very difficult, especially not knowing what's going to happen in a short amount of time from now. But yeah, like Lisa said, doing a lot of things at home right now.
And I guess for somebody who rides as often as you do, you know, the rumor mill has it that you can ride 7 days a week, no problem. This must be an absolute nightmare for you. I mean, how are you dealing with that? Just not riding?
Normally I'm not riding when I break a bone, but now I'm not riding because I can't ride. So it's a different situation where we're in right now. But I just rode for the last times was the week after Valkenswaard. So I basically haven't rode for a month now. It's you know, all tracks are closed, and I think it's all around Europe that basically everything is kind of closed right now. So yeah, it's the days take long, especially now we have so much rain and bad weather. And then since this coronavirus, you know, went worldwide, you know, like the last 3-4 weeks, we just had sunshine and good with temperatures. So it makes it even more difficult to just stay home all day.
Well, you said you're doing different jobs, Jeffrey. How are you keeping yourself busy? What does a typical day look like for you now we've got this break?
When I tell you that I watched Breaking Bad within a week, which is like 5 seasons, and like I'm on the last episode right now, episode 16. You probably know enough. I just spend like 12 hours a day behind the TV, and I just do some cycling. Sometimes I go outside. It's still allowed, but I train inside. So I train like 2 or 3 hours a day. But furthermore, you know, I mean, most of the shops are closed. Everything is kind of closed, and I try to, you know, stay home, stay safe. So yeah, a lot of Netflix, to be honest.
Yeah. Are you home alone, or are you being looked after by your mum?
Yeah, for dinner time I always go to my mom's place. But furthermore, like even that, you know, you cannot just have like 10 friends over right now. It's strictly forbidden in Holland. So yeah, it's even that makes it even more tough. Yeah.
Well, you just mentioned the weather a moment ago. I live 10-15 minutes from Valkenswaard, obviously the venue for the last GP. And as you said, it hasn't rained in the last month since we had that second round. But good for cycling and good for mowing the lawns, I guess. And unless you have a gardener, have you got the mower back out?
No, my mom does, but even the grass is getting yellow already because it didn't rain. Honestly, it rained for 1 month straight, like, literally like, almost every day. You know, Paul, you live in Belgium, so and like the moment Valkenswaard passed, it didn't rain. It didn't rain a drop ever since. So it's pretty crazy. But yeah, honestly, I don't really like working in the garden too much. I got my father for that, and my mom helps out a bit. So actually, but I do have plenty of time for it, to be honest. But I'm not that motivated. You know,
you've got no excuse now. You've got no excuse.
I cannot say like, hey, sorry, I'm late. I'm coming back from practice or whatsoever. And just say like, Mom, man, just you guys do it. I'm not into it.
Well, Jeff, we've got a question for you on Facebook. This one's from Lena JS. What is your favorite GP and why?
Hello, Lena. My favorite GP would be always like my home GP because it's only a chance you get once or maybe twice a year. So to race at home in front of your home fans, like all the fans supporting for you, that's always amazing. Like often, you know, Valkenswaard is really early in the year, so then the temperatures are not that great. So, but still, it's a home GP, and it's really amazing to race in front of your home crowd.
Okay, well, let's talk about the first two GPs that we've had. The first GP was Mastley Basin in England. What was it like going into racing on the Sunday for you after just doing the time practice on the Saturday?
Yeah, the Saturday was crazy as well. Like we had just one time practice, and we all did like literally like 2 or 3 or 4 laps, because just when we went out for time practice, we had a lot of snow coming out, and rain, and it's a little bit typical at that point of the year. In England, it's possible to still have some rain and snow. So it was weird. It was a complete different setup, but actually we qualified, I don't even know, like 3rd or 4th or something. So it was a different setup, and but the Sunday went great, so that was good.
But it must have been quite nice to get the first race out of the way, especially with that race win.
Yeah, definitely. The start of the year with a race win, it was amazing, especially with all the bad luck we've had in 2019 with basically missing almost the entire season. Just the last month, I basically raced with the last few GPs and the nations. So then to come back into the new year and start off the first 2 races, both with an overall win and with moto wins, it's a good way to start off the year.
It was strange, actually, because normally from you, when we have the preseason race press conference, and as we've seen with all your results over the years, everything's been about winning. But you played it down a little bit going into the first GP, saying you don't have to win every race, or you don't want to win every race. Where does this kind of new side of Jeffrey Herlings come from? Is it something that I don't know, you're another year older, perhaps, a little bit more mature, Jeffrey? How are you looking at it when you say that kind of thing, that you don't have to win every race?
By having a lot of hospital visits, mate. At that time, you definitely get some more quietness in yourself and more calm. And I've been really studying. I always knew, but then when I put my helmet on, I was like, I forgot about like keeping calm and just do like a Ryan Dungey style or Caroli style, to just be there every single weekend. That's the most important, especially in a 20-round series, to be there every single race and try to be consistent. I think, and I still believe in that way. Like if you try to podium every single weekend, you are, or you're really close to the world title. So that was my goal, to always try to be up there and be around the podium. And until now, everything worked out pretty well, but it's just been 2 rounds in, and still a lot can happen, like especially being in this situation, not really knowing when we'll restart and what's still going to happen this year, how many rounds will we still do. So it's it's a tough situation where everybody's in literally right now.
I mean, is that just quickly, is that why you didn't chase down Tim then in the second race? Because you knew that even if you stay second, you're going to win the GP, and you were looking at the bigger picture?
Yeah, definitely. And most of all, it was a bit dangerous at second motor, because the sun was really low. Like you had a lot of like going up to the ramps, you didn't really see good. So I was like, I don't want to yard sale in the first round in. I was like, yeah, just play it safe. And I knew I was going to win the overall. So I was fine with it. And once I got into second, Tim had like a 10 or 15 second gap, but he was riding really good. So even if I would have made a push, I'm not 100% sure I would have catch him. And at that point, I was just happy with a second and to start off with the overall win. The track was a bit gnarly, with the rain we had, and then the lines, and especially with the shadows. I was perfectly fine with having a second at the time.
Okay, well, we've got another question for you, Jeffrey, on Facebook. This one's from Sarah Jane X. She said, who has been the most surprising rider for you in these 2 GPs in terms of speed?
Hello, Sarah. I would say Tim, but actually he's not surprising me, because he's a 3-time world champion for a reason. But the gap we had in Valkenswaard was pretty impressive, both motos, but especially second moto. So he did surprise me. Furthermore, it was a weird start, because Faber was coming in injured and he didn't race. Then Tony was coming back from injury, so did Prado. So most of the heavy hitters, they weren't in perfect shape at that time yet. So I think once the season will get restarted, whenever that might be, in June or July or whenever, it will be different, because then Jorge will be back fit again. So would probably Faber and Tony. So then you will get some different results maybe, and different kind of racing. Also the track conditions was playing a part. Like you see in Valkenswaard was really muddy. England was not like a normal kind of race. So for now I would say Tim really surprised me with his speed and how good he was riding. Okay,
well, hopefully that's answered your question, Sarah. But you mentioned Valkenswaard. I guess you went to Volkensport, the second GP, you had the red plate. Despite the bad weather, it was still such a fantastic atmosphere, wasn't it? I mean, it's something about the Dutch fans and the Belgian fans as well. They're so passionate about the sport, aren't they? I mean, that must make you feel quite proud.
Yeah, it was, and I think like that second moto was a nice race to watch for the fans. Me and Tim, we stayed within 5 or 6 seconds to the world moto basically, so it was pretty nice to watch, I think. And like I missed Valkenswaard last year, so for the Dutch fans, they haven't seen me race for a long time basically. Most of them were in Assen for the nations, but like at the same time we didn't race for all winter almost, so a lot of fans wanted to come out and see the races again. And it's always great to race at home and see all the spectators. And with Jago Geerts from Belgium doing so good, he just lives just over the border, so a lot of Belgian fans probably came out, so that was good. And yeah, it's good for the organization as well when a lot of fans show up.
Absolutely. Well, in the qualifying race in Volkenswaard, it did look like you were struggling slightly. What was the situation there? Was it just the bike setup, the track conditions, or you just weren't really finding the rhythm out there?
Nah, true. I think I set up my bike a bit wrong, because like my bike was really set up to go fast, but the track didn't really allow you to go fast because it was a bit muddy and a lot of square bumps, and the speed was completely out of the track. So my suspension was too hard for the track situation. But like whenever we went practicing, the tracks were never that demanding or that deep and that ruddy. So we were not really in a position to test on a track like that, because you never really get a track like that on practice. So overnight we changed some things on the suspension wise, and we made a big improvement for Sunday. I was struggling a bit with arm pump on the Saturday, but that was gone on Sunday just because I made my bike a bit more soft, more a little bit like an enduro bike, because the speed was way lower than we expected it to be, because the track was just being slow and because of being so rutted.
You kind of put yourself under pressure, though, didn't you, going into that second race? This is based again on what you said at Matterley in the press conference about not having to win every race. But when you finish second to Tim in the first race, you want to win the GP. So you have to perform in that second race, at least beat him. How was that second race, actually? Because early on, you both put up quite an impressive pace, if you like. But eventually you managed to get the gap. And I guess you then applied the pressure to him because he had to come after you if he wanted to win the race, and it was him that made the mistake in the end. How was that second race for you?
Yes, first moto, I was just completely surprised. I was like, all right, let's just start up slowly. And we got it in the back because I knew he had like kind of last gate pick because he DNF'd on Saturday. And then the first lap, like I was second behind Cork. I was like, all right, he just come back from injury. I'll give him a few laps and I'll overtake him, and then I'll pull away. But then the first lap, some red bike just flew past me. I was like, where the heck did this guy come from? So I was really surprised that he could pull two of those great starts from all the way outside, because I've been in that position. I had a race in 2013, I believe. I was same like him, all the way outside, but I couldn't pull a start like that. So the first moto I was really shocked about it, and he was actually riding good, and I didn't really find my rhythm. But second moto, I knew if I wanted to win the race, even first moto, I knew it's all about the second moto. If I would go 1-2, I wouldn't have won anyway. So a 2-1 or a 1-1 would have given me the overall. So I knew second moto I had to beat her with the start, and I managed to pull a whole shot and managed to do my own race. But it was a little gamble of a race, because whenever you had some lap riders and you just were behind them on the wrong timing, you would literally lose like 4 or 5 seconds in one lap. Because if you would go like up that hill and then that part, you would just be stuck behind them for like 5, 6, 7 turns, because you couldn't really pass them because it was one dry line or one main line. So you had to be lucky a bit with the lap riders as well. But coming back to Paul's question, yeah, I had to put some pressure on myself. But even if I would have lost, I try to win. But it's not that it would have been the end of the world. But yeah, for sure, I wanted to win.
Okay, well, we've got some more interaction on Facebook for you. Firstly, there's some Argentinian fans saying hello to you, Jeffrey.
Hello.
Hello. Also, secondly, James Everett. This is an interesting question from James. What else do you think you'd be doing in life if you weren't racing motocross, he says?
Probably watching 12 hours a day Netflix like I'm doing right now, but then for the rest of my life, I don't know. I don't know, because like it's not like, because at this time you don't really know when you have to be back racing. So maybe Russia will stay on, and then I have to start riding anytime soon when we're capable of doing that. So you're not really possible to find a different hobby or start, I don't know, making a business or something else, because in a few days or weeks you have to be focused on your racing career again. So it's hard to build up something different right now. So I don't know what I'll be doing. I honestly don't know.
You don't like to even think about that, do you? That option?
No, I actually do. I often think about what I'll be doing after racing, but mainly it just stays to thinking, because I don't have a solution yet. So
okay, well, we can't have you on the studio show, Jeffrey, without talking about last year's Motocross of Nations. It was a difficult weekend for everyone, but you, Glenn, and Calvin made a little piece of history that weekend, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. We won.
Right, next question.
Next question.
No, I mean, how was it?
Yeah. How was the weekend?
Yeah, sure. No, it was unbelievable. Like, from my personal side of view, I didn't make the best result, but as a team, from a team point of view, we did great. Like, to be honest, it was a team effort, but Glenn did really good, and with Glenn going 1-1 again for the second year in a row, made us getting a pretty easily win. Again, it was a muddy race, and it was not like a normal kind of race when it would have been dry. But I think as a team we did great, and without them I would have never accomplished this. Throughout the years I've won a lot of times, like individually, but never as a team, and the team was never really capable of winning. But already the last 3 years in a row we were pretty dominant. Since 2016 till 2020 we finished 3 times second in a row. We lost to Majora basically in the last turn when Trevor passed Tommy. So yeah, Paul, I'm not happy you got a British passport right now.
Hey, I'm not happy we've not had a British win since '94.
Yeah, but you guys haven't been that close like we did. But in 2018, we really deserved to win, I believe, because I finished first, and then Glenn had 2 moto wins, and I finished second in the last moto, so we had a 1-1-1-2, and then unfortunately 2 DNF. So we actually deserved to win, but if this, if that. But now finally, in 2020 2019 we made it happen.
And obviously doing it on home soil as well, extra special, and also in front of the king.
Yeah, also been a good place to me. In 2018 winning my first MXGP championship, and then in 2019 to win the Nations in front of the king, which he is. I don't know if he ever attended the race, but I don't think so. So to do that in front of our home crowd in this way was pretty amazing.
Cool.
Okay, well, we've got some quick fire questions for you. These can be one-word answers as well, so I'm just going to run through them. Okay, You've won 4 world championships. Which ones means more to you?
2018, because that was the year I really had to dig deep and fight for that one.
Okay, 9 wins at Valkenswaard. Which one stands out the most?
Difficult one. The first one, 2010, because it was my first GP win.
Okay, Lommel or Leroy?
100% Leroy.
Okay, Justin Bieber or Justin Timberlake?
Oh, don't even ask me that question. Justin Bieber all the way.
Oh my goodness. Can I just say, his new album, have you heard his new album, Changes?
Of course I did, didn't you? It's good.
Brilliant.
He got like me. He got more adult. Like I'm more smart now. I'm more racing. He's more smart, like in his words and his songs. So yeah, we're growing up.
I'm Bieber's #1 fan. I love a bit of Bieber. Right. Okay.
No, you're number 2. I'm number 1. 100%.
Okay, you're number 1. I'll be number 2. What was the last music concert you went to? Bieber.
I went to Bieber honestly in 2016. I went to his Believe tour. I went to his Purpose tour. But the last concert I think it was Ariana Grande. I'm not sure, but I think it was Ariana Grande.
Okay, beach holiday or mountain holiday?
Beach, 100%.
I agree. Road cycle or mountain bike?
Road cycle.
Favorite track?
GP track or any track, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I don't know. I love Glen Helen, to be honest. Glen Helen.
Okay, best racing memory?
Passing Antonio Cairoli 2 motos in a row, almost in the last lap in England. That was one of the highlights.
Last thing you watched on Netflix and when?
Honestly, 45 minutes ago, Breaking Bad, episode 16, season 5.
I knew the answer to that already, actually.
Yeah.
What are you planning on doing this evening, actually? More Netflix?
Actually, I don't know if you guys have been watching Netflix, but because I just started that Breaking Bad, to be honest, so I wanted to, like, I'm obsessed. Like, I finished that season within 1.5 weeks, probably. But that Al Casa de Papel came out with like a 4th season. So when I finish this after the show, then I'm going to straight start the 4th season. I'm going to probably watch it.
Jeffrey, I actually said this to Calvin the other day. If you like Breaking Bad, you've got to watch Ozark on Netflix. It's absolutely brilliant. There's 3 seasons. I think you'd love it. I think you'd love it. It's very similar with 3 seasons.
I'll get it done in 3 days.
I was going to say, you'll get it done in 3 days.
Give it a go. We've got another question for you, Jeffrey, on Facebook. This one's from Argo V. Who was your idol when you were younger?
I would say James, before Ricky Carmichael, after James Stewart. And James Stewart's still my idol right now. Even if he's not racing, he's still the guy.
Okay. Any more questions?
One more from Michael Anderson. Do you watch any of your races back?
Barely. Sometimes I do when it's like a really good moto and I know it was really good. Cocky when I say so, but when you're leading, or whenever you have a race and you're leading, you're not that much on the TV. So when you're really fighting for positions, then you're more often on TV, especially when it's for race wins. So sometimes I do, sometimes not. Depends on how good the race was.
Okay.
All right.
That's it for social.
Okay. Well, look, Jeffrey, thanks for joining us for Studio Show 2.2, part of MXGP at home in the interim period that we're not going racing. Obviously, thanks for spending your Saturday afternoon with us. I know your time is precious.
Yeah, Netflix waiting.
Yeah, but you know, that's it for our show this week. I will be back on Tuesday, 4 o'clock, doing an Instagram Live. Lisa on Thursday, 4 o'clock, Instagram Live, and join us again for another studio show at home a week on Saturday, a week today at 4 o'clock as well. So thanks for watching. Thanks for your questions. And we'll see you all again during the week and next weekend. My name is Paul Malin. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Jeffrey. See you next time. Bye for now.
See you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.